Welcome back to Sports Club fans. We entered the week with two undefeateds. Will we exit that way?
And how many more players are going to go down with injuries?
Yeah.
You're going to find out a little bit later. Let's talk about the Thursday night game, the Seahawks versus the Cardinals. Seahawks. This game was what we thought it was going to be. The
Absolutely.
Seahawks were going to dominate, and that's exactly what they did.
Yep.
Final score was 34-22. Yep. And, there's really not much more to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody went into that game thinking that the Cardinals had a chance. Seahawks they're looking pretty good.
Looking ahead, and they're looking pretty good according to Bryce. Looking ahead, Percy Harvin's back at practice today.
I believe he's on my IR slot.
He is. Yes, he is. Let's move to the Sunday games. Texans and Chiefs. And this game was actually a lot closer than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, we thought were just going to completely dominate the Texans just because the Texans' offense just looks like crap right now.
And honestly, Case Keenum didn't do a very bad job
playing
quarterback for the Texans. That really should be an option, I think, for the Texans moving forward to have Case Keenum maybe start a game or two. The Texans are just a completely different team with Brian Cushing out. I mean, that defense is not the same without him starting. And the Chiefs' defense, man, I can't say enough about them. They look terrific.
And they are, and the Chiefs, speaking of the undefeateds, are actually going to 7-0. So they're one of the undefeateds. Let's find out if we're going to know.
Little stat about the 7-0 teams since the Super Bowl era has started. 100% of the teams that have started 7-0 have made the playoffs. 50% have made the Super Bowl, and I believe 15% have won the Super Bowl.
Wow.
So odds are looking pretty good for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'd say so, especially with a head coach like Andy Reid, who's actually been there before.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Bills and the Dolphins. Bills looked good, guys. They've got a decent defense that likes to turn the ball over, to give it back to that offense. And granted, you may not have a starting quarterback right now that's something you can rely on. Mm-hmm. Let's hope E.J. Manuel can come back eventually.
Yeah,
but
I think this is the Bills look good, and Bills won the game. But I think this is more about the Dolphins not being able to capitalize on knocking their number one quarterback out and getting beat by a third-string quarterback at home. I think the big thing is the relationship, the chemistry between Ryan Tannehill and Mike Wallace has not developed yet.
But it's not just that. I mean, Tannehill has spent more time under pressure than Matt Ryan has this season. That offensive line is worse than the Atlanta Falcons' offensive line. So if you can get your offensive line a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger up front,
yeah.
I really think that Tannehill can actually do some damage. Now, to go back to, who was it earlier in the season that said Tannehill was going to pass Dan Marino for the most passing yards in Dolphins history?
I don't know. I don't know who said that.
Some guy said that earlier in the year, and we're like, huh? Final score, 23-21. Bills win this one on the road. Cowboys, you're Cowboys.
Yep.
Doing business, 17-3, tearing the Eagles apart.
Defense looked really well. This is honestly an extremely boring game to watch. If you weren't a fan of either one of the teams, I don't know why you would watch the game. I think it was like 3-3 at halftime. I don't remember. It was a boring game. Defense looked good. Offense just kind of hit or miss. Without DeMarco Murray, we really don't have any really good balance. Joseph Randle did look pretty good in his starting role, though. Got a lot of carries, put up 86 yards, I believe.
I picked him up in fantasy.
Yeah, so just kind of kept rolling, 4-3, leading the division. I think we're the best team in that division, but I don't think that's saying very much.
That's a very valid point.
Yeah.
17-3 is the final score. Chargers at the Jaguars. Jaguars are still winless, guys. 24-6 final score. Patriots at the Jets. Wake up, Bryce. We got to talk about this one.
I was sleeping through the Chargers and the Jaguars.
Patriots lose this one, 27-30 on a last second.
On a controversial penalty. That new penalty was just put into place this year. It was voted on by the players, and the players were in favor of it. And from what I've heard, Bill Belichick's initial reaction to the penalty and a little after the game, he wasn't fully understanding what the penalty was and how it needed to be enforced. I don't think he understood it completely when he was showed it this year in the preseason. So, I know why the penalty's in place. I know why it's there, but that's just like I heard today, it takes a lot of rocks for an umpire to throw that flag on that type of play at the very end of the game for that type of penalty.
No joke. Final score 30-27. Bengals beat the Lions.
This was a terrific game.
Yes, it was.
Mike Nugent kicked a 54-yard winning field goal.
OH.
I-O.
So it was really good. And look, the Lions continue to do well on offense. And if Stafford can actually get his playmakers back healthy, Megatron did come back, but he was limited.
Yeah, but
So-
this was really this is one of the most entertaining games I watched over the weekend. I mean, you had Megatron and Optimus Prime going at it, making plays all over the field, and it was just, I mean, it was terrific. It was a really entertaining game, and this is a game between two teams that were very even, and they were just going back and forth. This was one of the most entertaining games I saw this weekend.
It was really good. And 27-24 final score, Bengals win. Falcons win at home 31-23 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The winless, running backless Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes. And I mean, did you see the guys going into the locker rooms afterwards?
Mm-hmm.
Full hazmat gear, just
Yep.
walking in. It's like,
Hosing
gotta
it down
cleanse
for
this.
AIDS. Wasn't that what it was?
MRSA. But we'll talk
They're
about
from
that.
Tampa. What do you expect?
This game, I mean, they were asking yesterday on the radio, do you feel any better about the Falcons after this win? No, I don't.
You beat a team that hasn't won a game. It's like beating the Jaguars.
And you also put up a good, I think it was 24 points in the first half,
Mm-hmm.
and then you didn't do a squat in the second half.
And what has been Atlanta's weakness? I mean, year in, year out.
Defense.
Yeah, and not being able to do anything in the second half. I think they did well with what they had. Harry Douglas had a phenomenal game.
Thank God he was on my fantasy team. too.
Queasy, you're welcome.
Yeah,
Queasy and Snelling, they both look pretty good. Matt Ryan looked good, but like I said, it was against the Buccaneers defense and a Buccaneers offense that it's. I mean, they really have one. The Bucs have one option on offense, and it's Vincent Jackson, who had 22 targets on Sunday, which is the most targets by a wide receiver since 2006, I believe.
wow.
Yep.
Browns at Packers. Back to your snooze fest.
Yeah.
31-13. The only things that happened here, Jermichael Finley bruises his spinal cord. He's actually walking, guys. He was in ICU all weekend, or right after the game up until, I think, today. Finally made it out of ICU. He's walking. That's the good news.
Yeah.
He's still probably out a good 4 weeks.
Yeah, but he's not, paralyzed or anything like that, and he's up and walking. And when you play a sport, like the NFL, I mean, that's some of those hits. I mean, David Pollack can tell you firsthand.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't come back from. I think the big story in this game was the disturbingly ugly jerseys that both teams were sporting on Sunday. The Browns had their normal, disturbingly ugly jerseys, and the Green Bay Packers went back to the ones they wore on the Sandlots in 13-12.
Wow.
Did you see them?
Yeah,
They were
I did.
hate. I mean, they're just why? Why would you wear? Who's gonna buy those?
Panthers win against the Rams 30-15. Sam Bradford out for the season with an ACL
Man,
tear.
he wasn't playing well, but he was playing a lot better than what their second options
Guys,
would be.
their backup quarterback is Kellen Clemens. He is awful.
Helen Keller?
Kellen Clemens.
Oh, they said Helen Keller. I was
Kellen
like, they were
Clemens.
gonna have a chance if it was Helen Keller.
Yeah, maybe a better chance.
I think the big story in this was Carolina's defense. They looked tremendous. I mean, the first play from scrimmage, they intercepted the ball for a pick six. Granted, it was against the St. Louis team that kind of hapless and wandering in the air, and their quarterback out the season.
Yeah.
But they looked good. Came away with a win on the road.
And the Panthers actually still have yet to play a division team. So don't
Wow.
sleep on the Panthers. The Saints may be running away with the division right now, but with the defense playing the way it is, and actually Cam Newton's starting to play a little bit better, their offense is starting to click a little bit better. Ted Ginn's getting more involved in the offense.
Go Bucks.
Don't sleep on the Panthers.
Mhm.
Bears at the Redskins. This game was really, really good
Phenomenal.
all the way through this game.
Yep.
A game that I really didn't think was going to be high scoring because I figured the Bears defense would hold Washington's offense to nothing
Yeah.
because that's what they've been doing lately. Yeah. 45-41 final score. The Bears lose this game.
I think the thing I take away from this is RG3 looks like he's back. He looked like the RG3 we know of last year, running around, throwing the ball, athletic, cannot be stopped. He looks like what we thought he was going to be at the start of the year. And 2, other than the Cutler injury for the Bears, I'm really worried about the Bears front 4. I mean, the Bears front 4 have looked atrocious in the past few games. They're getting pushed around. They're not getting any pressure on the quarterback. They're not stopping the run. They're not clogging the holes.
What, are we talking about the Falcons?
No. I know the Falcons have the same problems, but the Bears front 4 really, really does not look good.
Ravens Steelers 19-16. Steelers pull out the victory in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And
This
a
was-
game that said, "Who saw this coming?
Yeah.
Not me."
This was one of the games I didn't even get to watch this weekend just because of all the other great matchups on. And I kind of regret it because going back and reading about it, it looked like a terrific game. You know, Ben Roethlisberger does what he's always done. He wins in big games. They just don't have a lot of talent to sustain it. Baltimore is not the Baltimore of last year. They got rid of so much talent in the offseason. I mean, they're going to be lucky to sniff the playoffs this year, in my opinion.
49ers beat the Titans 31-17. Kaepernick is starting to get just a lot stronger. He's getting comfortable in the offense again. It's starting to be scary.
I really swung and missed at this
good
upset
job.
pick. That was bad. That was stupid.
Giants at the Vikings on Monday night.
This was horrible. This was the worst game of the weekend.
Josh Freeman looks so
Bad. Just awful. And apparently he's going to start again next Sunday.
30 incompletions. 30
I'm pretty sure I could do better than that.
with dump downs.
Yeah, with just chunking the ball up. I mean, I don't know why you'd start Josh. Do you
And
want to
this
win
is-
football games?
This was only the 6th time in Adrian Peterson's career that he did not get a 10-yard rush or a touchdown. Did you hear that? 6th time
Wow.
in his career that he didn't get a 10-yard rush or a
Or
touchdown.
That's impressive. That's a Hall of Fame career.
That's it for our Week 7 recap. Tune in here shortly for our Week 8 recap. And thanks, guys, for watching.